So Becca, it's a confession time for me.
Uh-oh.
I I've been thinking about something lately, and I've been realizing that I am particularly delusional in one area of my life. And that is usually around, and it's not every passionate interest of mine, but a lot of them. So, and this has been like a theme my entire life. So it started when I was like in middle school and I played basketball and I thought I was going to be a professional basketball player. When you're short and chubby, that's probably not going to happen. So that was the first delusion. And also, I had no concept of the work ethic that you would probably need to.
Just like the look of it. That was it, right?
Yeah, yes, I just like the look of it. So, and then I got into my 20s and I got really into marathon running and ran in several marathons. And I thought I was going to be in the Olympics. And while I got pretty darn good at it, nowhere close, not that even close. And then probably present day, and this is, over a 20-year span, that, in terms of, my autism advocacy part of my life, I used to think I was going to change the world. And while I hope I still do that, it's probably not happening. I think I'm doing a lot of great things with our coaching, with Autism Personal Coach. And I think the podcasting is a great thing. And it's connecting people and all those types of things. And so all those things are good. But I was wondering, is this just me? Or are you delusional at all in your special interests? Do you think other autistics out there are?
I think you have to be. And I know that that's going to sound a little crazy, but when you love something so much, and like a special interest for autistic people isn't a hobby. It's not like, you liked playing basketball, so you have a pickup team and you still get to play. That's not how we do things. We do things all in. We don't know how to do things part way. And so when you jump in, I think especially under a certain age, like I want to say under 25, I would say I was definitely delusional when it came to my special interests. First of all, I thought everybody should be interested in my special interests. So that's the delusion number one, right? Is that everyone should like it too. But the one that I think I I took the furthest maybe was that I wanted to be like an actress, singer, rock band person. So you know how like somebody like Jared Leto can be an actor, but he also has his band, right? That was what I really like. That was my thing, right? And so I was like, I definitely want, and now you know me, work at, right? Laziness, hello. You want me to carry what, where, and get there at what speed? Right. So that wasn't going to be happening for me to think that I could do all of these things. And then, I did theater for a really long time and I loved it. And it helped me a lot as a person, but it's, different to do it professionally. And I think I was particularly obsessed with the grunge aesthetic at that time, because that's how old, that was my age. And so I thought for sure, like Courtney Love and I were going to start our own band, and like I was going to be just like her. Things were going to happen, dog. And I was stuck because I was in New York and not Seattle. And that's why it didn't happen. And that was like my biggest delusion, was that I was going to be a drummer in a grunge band and also be an actress. That was the whole thing. But, I didn't take in consideration that I had zero coordination overall, let alone small motor coordination that was required for drums. But I look really cool behind them. So yes, I think especially under a certain age when you're still forming and you still, you don't know what you want to be yet, right? And what you want to do yet. It's so easy to just be like, I'm going to be Gwen Stefani. I'm going to be Courtney Love, and like go about your life, right? And I think that I did talk about it once on a live stream, that I think that that's where the masking begins, in that kind of area of like, oh, I really look up to this person. I want to be like them. I'm going to start to mimic and emulate, right? and that those are the way that we start to develop our masks. So that's just my opinion. But I love when you share this stuff, Doug, because it makes me wish that we grew up near each other. I would have been your best friend. I would have been like, yes, Doug, we're going to make you a famous basketball player. You just wait, we're going to do it. And we would have been practicing and making your own jerseys and all kinds of stuff. Because it just makes me want to be your best friend when I was a kid. We would have had so much fun.
We would have, absolutely. So Nera, so this is what you've gotten yourself into.
So welcome.
Before we get into your special interest, want to talk about your podcast, which I listened to an episode recently, which was about special interests. That was a great episode. Can you tell people a little bit about your podcast, the name of it, and what it's all about, and how they can go about listening to it?
So I have a podcast and a blog. They're both called I'm Not Drunk, I'm Autistic. And the podcast, it's new. So like I have like 3 episodes up so far. And I just kind of want to talk about autism, like just from my experience, because I feel like I touch on subjects that not everybody does, because I feel like people are more professional and I'm kind of like, nah, I'm just an autism advocate. I'm going to talk about whatever I want. So and one of the segments I really want to do are about special interests. So I took the first one of those segments as mine. I was like, so I'm just going to talk for 15 minutes, and if you listen, awesome. And it was pretty cool to just like babble to myself for 15 minutes about all my special interests. But I want to include other people as well. Like for the autism agency I work for, we have a Discord group of self-advocates, and I want to go on there and see if anybody wants to talk on the podcast and just be like, you have 10 minutes, whatever you want, give us a presentation, go. So like to give them a chance to kind of get their voice out there.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. That's the best part about podcasting, is that not only do you get to have your own opinion out there, but you get to give people a platform to share theirs, whatever they're creating, whatever is the thing that's important to them. And kind of give them a platform to do that. So I love that you're adding to the Autistic Podcast voice. That's awesome. I'm excited. I think we should really talk about, though, which now you've talked about for 15 minutes, is your special interest, because that's why we're here.
Okay, so I have the main one and the one that kind of like stems off from everything else are books. I like taught myself how to read when I was two, and I just have kept reading immensely ever since. I actually have like a tattoo of a book. I didn't have like the greatest childhood, so the books I was able to just like escape into them, and I had a great time there. So, and because of the books, like I got splinter special interests, because there are books about everything. So it's really the perfect special interest, because it leads to so many other things. And my other like main one is knitting, which I'm doing right now. I'm like pretty much constantly knitting, because it's stimming, and not only am I stimming, but I'm knitting a sweater. I'm going to have an article of clothing when I'm done with the stimming. So for me, it's just it's a special interest and like a sensory support.
Well, Nera, I think you're underselling your special interest of books, because I hear you can read very quickly.
Yes. I can read like 3 books a day. Like the longest Harry Potter book, I think I've read it in under an hour. I believe it's the 5th one that's the longest. And yeah, I can read that in like an hour. So, but that's
I'm so
also
jealous. The
more I read it though, the more I have it memorized. Like I could literally flip through the entire book in my head right now if I so chose to do. The each time I read it, I get to go a little bit faster, because it's another memorization of it almost.
How much are you comprehending when you're going through it that fast?
I mean, all of it, because like I'm reading the entire. My thoughts process a lot quicker than my vocal abilities, I feel like, because my thoughts can go very, very quickly, and that's why I think reading is so easy for me, because I don't have to worry about the I have like even less energy has to go to the processing system of talking, so it can go even more into the reading aspect. The talking part's the hard part.
Yes, I'm so jealous though. I was always wanted to be able to read faster than I can read. And I read pretty fast, but I think when I was younger, I read faster partially because of my glasses and partially like they got stronger and the reading got harder and all of that stuff. But also because I don't read as much. I feel like technology and the internet has made it so I read slower, which I think is really weird. But I don't think I read as fast on like a screen as I can read on paper, if that makes sense. So, but I'm fully jealous because when I was a kid, books were my only read. I didn't have cell phones. And so whenever I went anywhere, they were the only thing that kept me safe because I could escape into them from anywhere.
Oh yeah,
so I fully understand.
I always had like a book or two with me because like there was a chance that if I went out for more than an hour, I was going to finish the book I had. So you had to be prepared and have like 3 books. I think child me with the smartphone would have just been in awe. Like, I can go to the library right now and check out a book. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you read on Kindle also, or do you read like only paper books, or do you have a preference?
I mean, the paper books are the best, just sensory wise and just comfort wise. But like the fact that I can literally like be out in public and speed read through a book, then go immediately to the library and check out the next one in the series, and then read through that is pretty cool.
what are some of you mentioned having splinter interests because of reading. What are some of those that have kind of developed?
So I talked about this in my podcast episode too. The most concerning one was serial killers when I was in 8th grade. My parents were just very, very concerned, but I just was fascinated by like the psychology of it, because in my mind I was like, oh, I'm not exactly wired correctly. Why am I not killing and these people are? Like that kind of thing kind of fascinated me, I think. But now I can't do it. I just burst into tears about everything. So no.
That's
like,
so interesting. So there's a shared interest. That was my special interest and still is. True crime and serial killers is still a special interest for me and has been my whole life. So wow. Yay for a shared special interest.
And
Do you have a
weird one?
killer? It's so weird to ask, but do you have a favorite serial killer?
Yes. Processing. I'm like my brain is trying to go to my serial killer encyclopedia that I read, but I haven't read it in years. So it's kind of like the entries are kind of like blurring out in my head right now. I mean, I like Jeffrey Dahmer a lot because my aunt actually was like best friends with the person who wrote My Friend Dahmer. So I like got to meet him and talk to him about it. And so that was pretty cool to get to talk to his friend about it.
I don't have a particular interest in serial killers, but what I in high school, I ended up, I don't know why this happened. I ended up doing like a report on Jeffrey Dahmer, and I did a research paper. And I remember all like how he put things in the freezer and that's what I remember from that. I don't remember anything else, but I remember him in the freezer. That was an interesting scenario.
I definitely think he's one of the more recent ones. I think people are really interested in because we have so much like I don't know, like evidence and stuff that they've touched and pictures and they were alive and we got them on video talking about it and stuff like that. So there's a lot more information on that stuff. And I think that's really interesting. My personal favorite is BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill. He was my favorite because he got away with it for so freaking long, you guys. Like he basically had to turn himself in to the cop. Like here you go, I'm here you go. Like after years. And I just think that's crazy. And I'm interested that you and I share this interest and the same reason. I got interested into serial killers for the same thing. I knew that I was different. And I was like, well, where are all the weird different people in the world? And those people are really different. right? And so it was almost calming to know that I was different, but not different in that weird, scary, kill you way. Because there were days and times when I certainly felt like I could, right? Where I just felt that angry inside. And so I think I found it comforting to know that I wasn't that crazy. I wasn't that angry.
Nera, did you know at the time why you were interested in serial killers? Because you said it was concerning to, parents or teachers. And I certainly get that, but did you have any, like, were you able to process or verbalize like, hey, maybe you don't need to be so concerned about this?
Well, the issue is my parents were not supportive of my autism whatsoever. I was forced to mask just constantly. I wasn't allowed to like even stim in my own house. So like me telling them, hey, I like this because I'm autistic is basically like saying, yeah, that's why you need to stop it.
Right.
Yeah, they just I wasn't what they were expecting, and then the serial killers were definitely not what they were expecting. I came home, I think my mom's straw was when I came home with a book called Cannibal Killers. And she was like, we're going to have to monitor your book purchasing for a while. I was like, okay. Like, I was super disappointed, but she was like, you need to stop. You can't read things like this. Like, I'm not going to eat you. Like,
Right.
don't worry.
Now you also mentioned knitting as a special interest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love knitting so much.
Did you learn from someone? Like, when did you start and how did you learn?
I learned from my mom when I was in second grade, but then also because like things weren't very supported, I only really started getting very into it like I think about a year ago. Like right now I'm knitting a sweater for my godson, and like I've learned a lot of knitting techniques that I honestly would never have expected that I could do a year ago. Like, so it's been really cool to just see that kind of grow.
My mom was a knitter and I can't do it because of my dyslexia, but I tried so many times, but I can't do it. So I'm jealous because I like that rhythmic doing things with your hands while doing other stuff. And I use my phone for that, which is terrible, but like I like that. So I use putties and things like that, but I am not coordinated enough to knit. Maybe I can crochet, something like that.
I mean, I can't tie my shoes, and I know I don't knit the way other people do, because like I usually have to put my finger on the tip of the needle to push it through, which I don't mind because I actually like that's something I crave sensory wise anyway. But like after a while, my vessel is like, you need to stop because you have a blister, and like so I feel like I taught myself to knit in a way that the others aren't, because I don't think how could people be enjoying it this much if they're all pushing down a needle tip with their finger?
Is it something that you're like, you don't even have to think about it anymore? Like the process of how to do it?
It depends on like the project. This project I'm like, so there's like stitch markers that tell me what to knit when. And I'm at a point where I don't really need to look as long as I remember which row I'm on. So it's either a knit row or a purl row. But other than that, yeah, like this project I don't need to focus on. I'm making a project. I don't think he'll listen to this. If you are, thank you for supporting my advocacy work. My friend, I'm knitting him this really cool like kraken. Actually, I'll find a picture. It's a cowl and it just has like a kraken. So that involves a knitting chart, which is difficult because that like takes intense focus. So I would not be able to like do that and talk to you guys at the same time. Yeah.
You do all, okay, so here's the ones that I'm jealous of that I see on the internet.
Does it work? Yeah, that's
Yes.
the cowl
Awesome.
that I'm knitting.
Oh.
Oh, great. Those, so you get those patterns like that people share on the internet. I've seen like possum garbage bag holders and like weird little cute things like penguins for like practical uses and stuff. Do you do any of those fun kind of ones?
Like you mean like make small toys or what do you
Yeah,
mean?
things like that.
Not yet. That's easier when you crochet, which is something I want to teach myself how to do. You can knit things like that, but like crocheting them is way easier. So I do want to make those kinds of things for sure. But yeah, no, I just like finished my first sweater. Actually, we're gonna be matching because this is the yarn that's left over from my sweaters. So it's gonna be adorable. I'm gonna borrow the child and wander around with it in a matching sweater.
Got some good pictures. All right.
All right.
I think we've come to the time where we ask there's 11 questions. I don't know if you've ever seen Inside the Actor's Studio by James Lipton, but he asks a list of questions to every guest at the end, and that's what we do for Info Dump. So this is more autistic related versus actor related. So the first question is, what are your pronouns?
She, her.
And what is your preferred stim?
Knitting. And well, that's a detailed question. It depends on the scenario. Flapping for like happiness and rocking for distress.
What is your favorite curse word?
Am I allowed to like say
Yeah.
it?
Absolutely.
Adults only here.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Fuck.
It's always a good one.
It is.
Who do you love and what are you doing about it?
I I love everyone who's in my commune. I'm polyamorous, so I have like a couple significant others. So I love a lot of people, and I'm just being able to get to live my hippie commune dreams.
The next two are kind of fill in the blank. You may be neurotypical if.
Oh man. If you can think of an answer to the question.
And then you may be autistic if.
If you are just if you think in a really cool different way.
What's something you want to learn or be better at?
I want to learn how to crochet.
We'll learn together because I want to learn how to crochet.
What autistic social media account should people be paying attention to?
Mine.
Hey.
Yeah, no, the autistic pinup or the fuck you up fairy on Instagram, because apparently autistic is not allowed in your username.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Okay.
But you can use that in your username, but not autistic.
Yes, because I guess one is more offensive than the other.
Wow, that is so telling about our society. Yay.
Wow. What's one thing in your routine you couldn't possibly live without?
Getting to like read or knit at least a little bit in the day.
Dog, cat, or must I choose?
Dog, all the way. Yeah.
Nice. One for you, Doug.
One for me. One for me. Thank you, dear. I've never had a cat. I might like cats. I don't.
You might, and then we would just cross you over.
I'm getting more comfortable with them. They're not all bad. There's some are friendly and don't paw at me, so that's good.
Yes.
what does autistic joy mean to you, Nera?
Just getting to be as happy and as stimmy as you want over some very little thing that everybody else might not appreciate, but that just makes you so happy, which is like the best part of being autistic, is the fact that we get to feel such intense joy over things.
All right, well, is that it? We're done already? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys go check out Nera and everything she's doing. I'm not drunk, I'm autistic, right? Autistic pinup, and what was the other one?
Oh,
Fuck you up fairy?
yeah.
Right? Oh, I memorized. Yay. So go and find her and see the cool things that she's doing and knitting and advocating for, because she's an awesome voice in our community. So yay. That's another episode in the can, Doug. We're done.
We are done for now.
For now.
That's what it'll be pretty soon. See you soon, Becca.
Yeah.